Hi everybody. Turn your phone off. Who was that? Oh.
Shane.
Oh, okay. Well, answer that. We'll wait. Okay, hi. I'm Josh. Sorry, did I just go over levels on that? Hi, I'm Josh. I'm the CEO, co-founder of PolySync. We're a new startup to town. Just moved here. Where from? Not California, from Idaho. Yeah, that's right. Idaho. Any other startups from Idaho in the room? Yeah? No. Yeah, really? Yes. Oh, poor Idaho. Yeah. All right, so PolySync, the autonomy operating system. So we build a software platform for autonomous cars, and in our experience in autonomous cars, I'm a newcomer to auto, so it's my job as a CEO to come up with sort of these macro trends and understand what is going on with auto that are the problems there that they're not well prepared to solve. There's three big things happening across auto right now. Big trends that are causing them to sort of panic a little bit. Now, are there any auto folks in the room? Anyone knows auto well? Okay, great. Not very many. There's probably a lot of other people who are sort of general software folks experiencing the web and mobile and areas like that. And you guys are all like eyeing automotive hungrily, thinking this is going to be the place where I'm going to go next and make a difference. Well, I've got sad news for you. So auto's facing a crisis. We've got electrification, so new drivetrains. You've got Tesla and XEV and Faraday coming in and innovating in that area, but also just increasing sort of emissions requirements, which are making it very, very hard for these existing automakers to stay compliant, relevant. They're throwing more and more energy at these things. Difficult stuff. Often it's out of their domain. In addition, they have pressure put on them from new business models, mobility as a service. You heard from Reach now, right, which is a great example of a large-scale OEM trying to embrace new business models. And then finally, you've got new software-defined functionality. So the hallmark of this, of course, is autonomous driving, right, which everyone is very excited about. But in general, right, like maybe 5 years ago, we bought cars and we thought that their like infotainment systems were cute and not that old. And today, you're like, I don't want the nav, I don't want any of it. Just give me an aux jack and Bluetooth, and I'll use my phone, right? Like they're laughably behind. And the challenge for these guys is actually they're becoming more and more behind because they're just not nimble enough. And the reason for that is that cars today are a lot like one of these. Anyone remember this phone? I actually had this phone. Yeah. Cars today are a lot like feature phones, right? So they're built in a very bespoke manner, meaning that the companies that build them tend to build all of them. They maybe use subparts from different component suppliers, but they tend to be built from the ground up in what we call a bespoke fashion. They don't really make use of technology providers in a meaningful way. And in fact, across automotive, they tend to think of their like competitive advantage not in the way that web and mobile companies do, where they think about the user experience in some small amount of value. Instead, they think about the entire stack, all technology components, everything that is a car is their competitive advantage. And that's manifested itself in the behemoths that you see across GM and Ford and these big companies, where you've got thousands of people, literally thousands of people building engines, building suspension components, building headlights, building body panels, and then and 50% of the cost of building a car going into building electronics architecture. It's not sustainable. So in a way that they've got all this pressure coming in from macro trends, they're unable to embrace them because they don't have one of these, or one of these. wrong button. I'm flashing the laser. So they don't have one of these, which is a platform. Now, a lot of people think vertical integration hasn't that worked really well for Apple. But I would submit to you, actually, Apple is the hallmark of where auto needs to go. Apple is maybe not so much a vertical integration company, they're a platform company, aren't they? And for all of you who have iPhones or Android phones or whatever, right, you can just answer this question by asking yourself, how many apps on a daily basis do I use that are made by the manufacturer? Not very many. I've got probably 100, 200 apps on my phone. I'm, the worst of them, and like 3 of them I use, right? Like Safari. So the experience of an Apple phone is actually defined by the integration that it provides, the ability to access other people's technology. Now, auto doesn't really have any of that. So we asked ourselves in building PolySync, how do we build an ecosystem where you can, where technology providers, startups, other big companies can bring value to the end consumer through the automobile. And what we decided is none of that exists. So what should it look like? It should provide continuity. Today, automakers, when they build technology stacks, they throw out the code, they throw out everything they built multiple times through the process. Shouldn't we take a cue from mobile and from web, where we use the same platform throughout the development process? Our code evolves rather than being cycled out. Can there be interfaces? So can we provide an interface, a common way to access data and to access the functionality of the car so that folks can bolt in and actually provide a sort of aggregate functionality that will eventually make up the functionality of the car? And then finally, what tooling can we provide to make that development process faster? Today, the time to market for a new automobile is 5 years, right? So that's why I said 5 years ago it didn't look so bad. What happens is that they actually write the software 5 years before it goes to market. They plan it all out. They spec all their chips. They get everything in place 5 years before it goes to market. So you're seeing how much trouble that is now. So we built PolySync, and this is an awful slide that I pulled from another deck, but effectively what PolySync is a middleware. It's a platform that includes interfaces, continuity, and tooling to make building automotive software faster, to provide an interface for automakers to aggregate technology instead of build it from the ground up. And that's that's manifesting in some of our success that we've had with automakers, but it's a long journey. But what we like to say is that we're going to be the last startup to do this thing that we're doing. The last startup to build these relationships. Am I out of time? Yeah. Okay. So the last startup to build these relationships. The last startup to have to like build the bespoke stack in order. I've got it. Totally. Understand?
It gets away from him.
Yeah. That duck. Oh, chase that duck down. The last startup to have to do this. So what that looks like in the manifest is a car that's not built of 100 different modules, and they like to brag about writing 300 million lines of code per car. Instead, that is a car with generalized central computers that are useful for many different things. It means that startups across this room and across the entire world can come in and bolt into the car and make a difference, to be able to access the end consumer and build real businesses. And now I'm going to play a video instead of answering questions. There's supposed to be like awesome music, like Anyway, so this is a fun video, which actually I'll just let you guys watch, but this is a cool thing. We just showed this off at the LA Auto Show. We just won the top startup at the LA Automobility. That was pretty cool. And this is thank you everybody. It means a lot. Anyway, so questions? Yes.
What does this have to do with autonomous driving vehicles?
So that's a great question. So one of the hardest software problems that exists in auto is autonomous driving vehicles. The applications that these guys are having to build, the amount of data that they're having to process, dwarfs by orders of magnitude anything they've had to deal with before. So it's forcing them to consider new architectures, new platforms, new ways of building software, and that's essentially our in. But eventually we're building out and reinventing the entire automotive software architecture. Yeah. Anybody else? Right there.
Who are your competitors?
Our competitors. Who are our competitors? So we tend to think of them as the automakers themselves, right? This is really, we're one of the few startups that are not building an entire startup or an entire stack ourselves. Instead, we're disaggregating all the functionality and like doing one little part of it. So our job is to convince the OEMs and the tier ones, the different suppliers, that they shouldn't do this themselves. Instead, they should differentiate on functionality or experience instead of underlying technology. Let's go in the back, in the middle.
On autonomous technologies, do you offer any ASIL certification for ISO 26262?
All right, auto guy. Yes, so working on autonomous driving technology, do we offer any ASIL certification for ISO 26262, which is a jumble of numbers and letters that represent a lot of the challenges that automakers have in embracing rigorous software. The answer is yes. We're building toward ASIL D in about 2 years. The long answer is that we think that if we're successful in redefining the way that you use data for validation in the same way that someone like Tesla has been successful in that those numbers and letters may not mean anything when we're done with it. No. Anybody else? All right, in the middle and the back. Yeah.
Do you have any open source initiatives?
Good point. Yeah, absolutely. Do we have any open source initiatives? We have a really, really cool open source initiative that folks in the room should take advantage of. We just launched the open source car control project. That's oscc.io. What that is a set of PCBs, of firmware, and a variety of instructions that will let you essentially build a controllable car. And you might have seen the Kia that was out here. A controllable car, meaning you can send commands to it via computer and have it turn the steering wheel, drive forward and brake, all those things, for under $1,000. So to give you a contrast to that, in our industry before that came along, that would normally have cost you about $140,000. So open source, you should, if anyone wants to build an autonomous car, requires a Kia Soul and that kit. Anybody else? All right. Great, thank you.